Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Hello, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us today. And as you know, we started adding Fridays to our live instead of pre-recordings. So I'm pretty excited about that. And we are live today. And today we have a show that's very near and dear to my heart, a topic. But again, welcome to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. And we are broadcasting live on United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Please be sure and join us in the chat. I know you guys are not used to lives on Friday, but please do share this and join us in the chat for some questions and comments. We'll be very excited to hear from you. So today's topic: do you think that your voice is truly being heard by those who govern us? Or is the silence you feel a form of political censorship? Leveraging opaque algorithms and inconsistent content moderation policies, these powerful heads of social media companies systematically deplatform, shadow ban, and suppress user speech, effectively controlling the public square and deciding which unheard voices are allowed to participate in our discourse. Tonight's interview is crucial. The First Amendment promises us freedom to speak, but Mel Carmine's documentary, Dear Mr. President, suggests that that promise is often broken. We're not talking about online trolls. We're talking about the systematic suppression of legitimate dissent. So get ready for a candid conversation about what it really takes to tell a story that the establishment doesn't want you to hear. When a voice is suppressed, democracy is threatened. So with that, we welcome Mel. Thank you so much for being
Thank
with us
you.
today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored. And the suppression is literally off the Richter scale. And it just takes, one person to get the point across to a lot of other podcasters who are also being suppressed. And now it seems that we have a small movement that I think will grow much larger as time goes by, because when you're able to make enough noise that we could reach Washington, and we will, what's going to end up happening at some point, maybe it could take 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. The end result is what matters. The end result is removing the speed bumps and making it a level playing field so that the Carol Anns of the world and the Mel Carmines of the world and the Nino Rodriguez's of the world and the Ron Partains of the world and the Elisa Valentinos of the world can grow unimpeded, where the audience decides how big you can get. And whatever that number is, once we know for sure that it is a level playing field, we should be okay with that number. But when they're stealing your audience and they're not allowing your messages to get out there because we're speaking too much truth, and we're sort of competing against all the liars on mainstream media, it really hurts, because they're not just stealing your views, they're stealing your money. And I really have a problem with people saying, well, you want to be a patriot, meaning that we want to get paid. Listen, at the end of the day, when I travel for business, and I do travel quite often, they charge me the same money for that same chair that they sell the guy that works for CNN or Fox or ABC, always broadcasting crap, etc. So the reality is, why shouldn't we not be well funded? Yes, we're a ragtag army of journalists trying to figure out how the dust settles on this, the tea leaves. But the reality is, we're out here telling you the truth. So you're telling me that I'm not allowed to make $1 million or $2 million a year, but yet Anderson Cooper, who lies through his teeth, and everybody who works with him lies through his teeth, delivering you a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of non-truths. right, is allowed to
Yeah.
make 5 million a year, but the Mel Carmine who's trying to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, I'm not allowed to be well funded. When I pay for a hotel room, again, they charge me the same money that they charge an Anderson Cooper or whoever else works for CNN. I don't follow CNN. So,
Yeah.
or an airfare, or if you go to a decent restaurant to get 3 squares a day, they don't give us a discount. So you want us to be well funded because we are here fighting for you guys, and
Yeah.
we don't have the luxury to lose this war, because if we lose this war, I'm telling you, the tanks will 100,000% be rolling in. They want America to fall into communism, and we're not going to
Oh,
let that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before we dig into, there's a lot to talk about. I want folks to know who you are, and what you're doing. Why is this your passion? I know you have other projects that you work on as well, but give us a few minutes of who Mel is and what drove you to create this amazing documentary called "Dear Mr. President."
Yeah, well, I've had to reinvent myself I didn't know at 11 years old when I moved to this country. Uh, well, actually, I moved here when I was 9. I never knew that one day I would be fighting the New World Order, and I didn't never thought in my wildest dreams that there was going to be a day where I'm going to be doing podcasting on television, or well, this is really the new television, right? And
Hmm.
so here we are. I mean, I grew up through being my own boss, opening up pizza shops with my family throughout my years. I've done consulting for sales. I've done all kinds of direct sales, and I've done pretty good for myself. But I never thought that I would do this until something like COVID-19 rolled into town, and I was in the energy deregulation business. So if you ever get a call from somebody from a call center that is saying, hey, come on board with us, we'll give you 10% or 12% discount for the next 30, 40 days, whatever, those call centers usually would work for me and Amber. And we would just basically make a spread of maybe 20, $30. And we would literally sell the contract to a subcontractor, be in the call center, and we would get paid all of the money. And then we would just keep our contractual obligation and give them the rest. And we were making really great money sitting on the beaches of Costa Rica, traveling around the world. We had an incredible life. All of a sudden, boom, this COVID thing comes into town and the whole world
Yeah.
changes. I came back to the United States. I got to tell you the truth. I don't recognize this country anymore. I never
Hmm.
thought that businesses would close down at 5, 6 o'clock. Everything's shut down. It's like we're still being locked down, which is the remnants of the COVID-19 situation.
Hmm.
I remember when I left the United States, pizza shops and restaurants and things were open till 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at
Hmm.
night. That doesn't happen anymore, right?
No.
So, but I had to basically reinvent myself in the sense that, hey, I can no longer make a living selling energy deregulation. So, getting bored, getting fat, just literally waiting to see what this thing is and how it's going to evolve and how the dust is going to settle. I had to think quick on my feet. So one day I said, you know what? If Nino Rodriguez can do this, so can Mel Carmine. And I did with that. I decided to start a channel on Telegram, which eventually parlayed over into a channel on YouTube and Rumble and so on. Today we got 7 platforms, 200,000 plus people following us on all these different platforms worldwide. And so here we are. But I know that I have the charisma to be a million, 2 million followers. I know that I could build a media empire. But someone out there says, no, you're not worthy. No, we don't like what you're talking about. No, no, no. And so I said, you know what? Someone's going to have to put a fight to these people. So my argument, I think, is very simple, and I think anybody out there will agree. If I was capable, for example, hypothetically speaking, to give you an ironclad contract, backed by a bond, say if you
Hmm.
podcasters would get behind us and take this movie, go to dearmrpresident.net, dearmrpresident.net, not .com, and you would download the movie in English, in Spanish, Italian, Chinese, 2 versions Chinese, Mandarin, and now coming as early as tomorrow, we got the Cantonese version,
Hmm.
Russian, French. It's in every damn language. Take it, because I'm sure that we're not the only ones having the problem being censored just in the United States. I think it's happening in France. I think it's happening to the podcasters in Italy and Russia and
Oh,
so on.
it's global.
Download the movie, put it on your channel, push it. If I was to give you an ironclad contract saying, hey, this contract is backed by a bond, that if you don't get to, let's say for example, I'll say, hey, you're talented enough to get to 1 million people, I'll sign you a contract, an actual contract, that if you don't get to 1 million people by pushing the movie every single day for the next 6 months, along with thousands of other podcasters, I will write you a check for $1 million. Every single one of you would jump on board. Every one of you would jump on board. You know why? Because if you can get to 1 million people watching your stuff, whether you're selling T-shirts or mugs or whatever it is you're floating out there, shilling as they like to call it. It's not shilling; it's called making a living. Right?
Exactly.
Right? You would actually make some money. So not only are you stealing the people from watching your show, but because you have too much charisma and you should be at 1 million, but you're not because someone else is saying so, and they got algorithms and they got these computer guys that write code to make sure you will never see the light of day, they're stealing your money. As far as I'm concerned, and I think I'm correct when I say this, I think there are damages here. I think there should be a massive, class action lawsuit. My question to you lawyers out there, where are the lawyers with the cojones, right, to come forward and say, you know what, Mel, you're right. This is the United States of America. We have a First Amendment. Let's help you push the government to get a Bill of Rights that enforces the First Amendment. And then if you don't want to do business in America, you get the hell out of here.
Mm.
You understand? You want to stay in this country and you want to do business with it. America is a privileged citizenship. Everybody, every corporation, every red-blooded person in the world wants to come to America because you can make a fortune here if you use your noodles and you're willing to get dirty, right? Bottom line is these corporations have had way too much power for way too long, and someone's going to put a stop to it. And if that person is Mel Carmine, so be it. But I need all the podcasters to get behind the movement because together we're unstoppable. If we can get this movie uploaded to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 channels, not only will it get to the office of Washington and the Congress and the senators and Donald Trump, it will get to every government in the world. They say, you know what, these guys right. You know what, there are damages here. Yes, we're going to allow the lawyers to sue or settle with the podcasters because they probably owe me millions. And when I say they owe me millions, I'm speaking for all of you out there. Because if they owe me millions, they owe you millions. And therefore, I think, we're going to have to correct this wrong. And if they think that they could just, have their way with us because they run a multi-billion-dollar or multi-trillion-dollar corporation, I
Yeah.
say bullshit to that.
Yeah, I agree. It's like we have a shadow government running things behind the scenes. Like, how can they bypass the First Amendment? How can they just take it upon themselves to do this legally? That's
Well,
my question.
their argument is supposedly, according to them, is a legitimate one. They say we're a private corporation. We could do whatever we want. And technically speaking, that is correct.
True.
This is why we need the government to step in and say, no, this is America, and there are rules and regulations here. There is a First Amendment. And if you think that you're going to override the First Amendment and circumvent everybody and circumvent Mel Carmine out of his money, you're wrong. By the way, here is a Bill of Rights for the internet. Either follow it or we come in and we inspect unannounced inspections and say, hey, you're in violation. Fine number one, $1 billion. Fine number two, $10 billion. Fine number three, $30 billion. You're not going to say, hey, here's $30 billion, just go away and we'll continue business as usual. No, after your third strike, we shut you the fuck down and we take over your YouTube. I'm absolutely certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, and I think the audience will agree with this, is that I believe Donald Trump and the kids and the people that surround Donald Trump, there's a few good people there. That's not like the first run back in 2016. I think there's some good people there that can bring, make an announcement, say, hey, we need some programmers. We're shutting down YouTube because they don't want to play by the rules, the new rules, backed by a Bill of Rights, and we'll bring in some programmers and take over and run it the right way. Period.
Mm. What is that called that the government gave them, a 502c or something, or what, where they can't get sued? They gave it to Google and all of them, all the social media. What was
Whatever,
that called?
I know what you're talking about. Whatever it is they gave
Yeah,
them, they need to revoke that because
that's what I'm saying.
it's not constitutional.
No, that needs to go first and foremost.
Yeah.
And once I think they take that protection away from them, they're going to do a 360. I mean, I think that's at least the beginning of it, where they have to have the same thing with the pharmaceutical companies. They have that protection as well, where they can't be sued or penalized. And it's got to start somewhere. And I think maybe that would be a good
Well,
start.
look, I own a healing center, a wellness center in Cape Canaveral on Center Street. And it's not too far away from the launch pad where they launched that thing that we probably haven't eaten in about 75 years. And I could tell you that we have put together some of the most amazing commercials. As a matter of fact, one of the commercials is in the movie. And we put that commercial out there with the information how to get in touch with our center. And that commercial was supposed to air in Cape Canaveral, in Cocoa Beach, Rockledge, Vieira, Melbourne, and so on. The population of those areas that I just mentioned, conservatively, over 300,000 people. 300, 350,000. The whole entire county, Brevard County, is about close to 700,000 people. The average income here is about $101,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
These people are not poor. Number one. Number two, I can tell you that I've had dozens and dozens of calls saying, Mel, we live on YouTube. We watch a lot of programming on YouTube, and we live in Rockledge. We live in Cocoa. We live in Cocoa Beach. We live in Cape Canaveral. We have never seen your commercial, not once. So you're telling me I was paying YouTube and my commercials not being seen? Wasn't even maybe 4 months later after advertising every weekend, every day we're spending 60, 70, $80 a day every day on advertising with nothing to show for, zero. I get these calls from all my clientele who watches a lot of programming on YouTube because that's what everybody watches now. We don't watch regular television. We watch what we want to watch, right? And we're getting zero traction. I come across one video by a holistic doctor that was maybe 15, 20 minutes long. And he says, if you're spending any money on YouTube and you have something holistic or something frequency based that actually does work,
Yeah, you're
that can
toast.
actually allow the body to heal the body of any disease, and you're advertising and you're getting no traction, stop wasting your time, stop wasting your money. Your ads are not being seen. So you're telling
Right.
me now I'm looking at my website. I'm going into the guts of the website in the back office, and I'm looking and I'm seeing 400, 500, 600 visitors a day. I'm saying, wow, we're off to the races. Any day now, someone's going to pull the trigger. Someone's going to buy something. Because I got a guy, basically, his name is Ray, and he's saying, I had prostate cancer, I had lung cancer, I had diabetes. And he says, it's because of the scalar wave technology that
Yeah.
I am still alive today, and crying, saying, hey, I want to see my granddaughters, my grandkids grow up. I want to go to their weddings. I want to see them graduate high school. Crying. It was a very emotional piece that we did. And you're telling me I'm getting 500 views a day on average and nobody's pulling a trigger?
Yeah.
I was doing it at night, but not last night. So when I saw that, it drove it home. So they were sending bots, they were sending technology to give me the illusion that I'm getting visited. The problem is I'm not getting visited. I'm getting visited by technology so that I will continuously part with my 60, 70, $80 a day, and they can continue to screw me. Which, if I could get somebody on the inside of YouTube to say, hey, I no
Yeah.
longer work at YouTube, but I want to be a witness to that and prove to me beyond a shadow of a doubt, Mel Carmine would put a lawsuit on YouTube faster than shit goes through a goose.
Mm. Oh, is there an echo?
Not really.
Heidi, do you hear an echo? Oh no, it went away. Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah.
this is what we're up against. And so,
Yeah.
look, at the end of the day, they're more afraid of this
Yeah.
because if we, let's say, for example, put some rules and laws and regulations in place
Mm,
that without a shadow of a doubt, the bumps have to go away. The speed bumps, in other words, we have a level playing field because Donald Trump doesn't play. If Donald Trump can get, if we can get this movie to Donald Trump at some point,
yeah.
and he says, yes, I resonate with that. Yes, they're right. Yes, they're being screwed. Yes, they should have a lawsuit. Yes, yes, and yes. Then what happens is this becomes the most powerful weapon we have. Why? Because our voice has to be heard by law. And once your voice has to be heard by law, they're not afraid
Mm,
of a revolution with guns. They're afraid of the truth getting out. People have discernment. They can say, oh, yeah, you know what? UFOs, extraterrestrials, that's a bunch of nonsense,
exactly.
right? And for the people that want to believe UFOs and extraterrestrials, you have the option to do that. For the people that want to believe that the earth is flat, you have the option to believe that. For the people who want to believe that the earth is round, you have the option to believe that. For people who want to believe that this gravity is holding these, 900 quadrillion gallons of water in our
Yeah.
oceans together, you have the option to believe that.
Yeah.
But we know that we've been lied to about everything, and
Oh, yeah.
you're paying for it through your taxation in your home that you don't own. As a matter of fact, Florida is moving towards getting rid of the property tax because right now you're renting your property from the state. And if you don't
Exactly.
pay your taxes, even when your house is paid off, the state comes and takes your house.
Fix your
You own
house. Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. And let me tell you something. I will tell you that we are 2 or 3 weeks away from starting to work on Dear Mr. President Part Two. And
Nice.
I'm not going to say much, but I will tell you, as powerful as this movie is, and obviously we got overshadowed by the shooting of Charlie Kirk because we did a launch party, 24-hour launch party. Most of the podcasters that were on, not everybody likes to play ball, by the way. I wish I could tell you all 45 podcasters that had their 45-second piece uh, went live with us. Maybe 14, 15 of them went live with us. That was it. That was the number. So it is what it is. I wish I could get everybody to play ball, but you can't. You can lead the horses to the water, as they say, but you can't make them drink, right?
Yeah, but it's more than that. People are genuinely still afraid. They're deplatforming, debanking. I mean, it's just awful. And people that want to earn a few bucks doing this, which I don't. This is purely a passion project for me. Um, I fully believe that people are petrified to cross that line and take that risk of speaking their truth. And that's probably one of the main reasons that, I mean, I'm just assuming that's why they backed out because they're still petrified. See, the problem starts when, let's take this for example. It's already been discovered and proven that the Biden administration, and I don't get political on this channel, but this is a fact, paid Mark Zuckerberg millions of dollars, right? To be on their side and push their agenda.
Yeah.
So that's where the corruption starts when you mix, politics with freedom of speech,
Yeah.
because all of our voices were suppressed out of the gate and people lost their homes, their jobs. And it's not only the United States. Look at what's happening in Canada, in the UK. They're arresting people for memes and for just saying, retweeting something. So this is a much deeper, serious problem. And I think not only is it political, but I think they hate us. They hate whoever they are, the deep, we'll just call them the deep state. They hate humans. They hate our divinity and they want to depopulate us out of the gate. That's what they want to do. And
That's
this
what
is
they
just,
want to do. Ultimately, I think they're going to fail.
yeah, I think
Ultimately,
so too.
yeah.
I like to call myself an apocalypse optimist
Yeah.
because while we're going through this nightmare, I don't think it's going to end badly for us. What's your take on that?
I don't, I don't think it's going to end badly for us, except we are in a war. And even though there's no bombs or bullets flying or tanks rolling through the streets, every war has casualties. There's people that
Right.
literally have decided to off themselves, and they can't take the pressure of this new world
Yeah.
order. And
Yeah.
the people that having a hard time. I mean, look, when you force somebody to take a medical procedure that a lot of us did not want to take because we knew what it was, and we knew it
Mhm.
was poisonous without mentioning what it is, I think your audience is smart enough to know what we're talking about,
Oh, of course they
right?
do.
And so when you have that kind of a situation going on, and you're threatening people that, hey, it's mandated by the government. See, that it's a play on words.
Yeah.
They bamboozled us with words.
Yeah.
When you go to court, you stand under, and I don't understand nothing. I don't stand under you. I only stand under one person. That's my God.
Mhm.
Okay, so they created two of us, right? They created two, a straw man and the one with the little caps, and then the real you. So you're just basically a human being that's put here by God, and you have inalienable rights. And once you know how to read, how to get into that language, which I'm starting to learn a little bit at a time, okay, then you could beat them at their own game. But we've been
Mhm.
bamboozled with words like, oh, it's mandated by the government. Well, let me clue you in. A mandate is not a
Not
law.
law. Yeah.
It's not. Mandate is, it sounds like a very strong, forceful word. Oh, we're mandating this, otherwise you're going to lose your job. That's great. You know what? I would have gone to lose my job instead of losing my life.
Right.
Why would I want to do that to myself? I never trusted the government. I don't trust this
Ditto.
government. I don't trust the Italian government. I don't trust the Russian government. I don't
Nope.
trust any government. I'm an
Correct.
equal opportunity hater when it comes to governments.
Yeah.
And so I was always raised not to trust anybody. It's been ingrained into my DNA. This is who I am as a person. I don't give a shit who likes me, who doesn't like me. I am not here for a popularity contest. I couldn't give two rips, literally. And I'm here to do a job. When my job is done,
Yeah.
and I push XRP. As a matter of fact, if any of you guys out there want to buy some XRP, $10,000 is the minimum, and the maximum there is no 786 704 8817. 786 704 8817. But do not call me because you're lonely. You need, if you're lonely, go get yourself a puppy. Okay. Just send me a text message. Say I'm very serious about buying a large sum of XRP, and I'll help you out with that. We have brokers all over the world, and we can get you as much as you want. And I've been doing this for 5 years. I got customers that got, you know, jet aircrafts. So you're telling me that, hey, I'm going to lose my job because you want me to take some poisonous shot? Well, screw you, fuck you, and the horse you came in on. I'll lose my job gladly, and I'll go look for another job, or I'll start a business, or I'll start a side hustle, two side
Mhm.
hustles, three side hustles. I didn't come to America for some boss to dictate to me. Well, I got fired from I
Yeah.
got fired from every job you could possibly imagine because when I was going through the ranks, I think I had five jobs. I worked for Copy World. I worked for Alamo Rent a Car. I worked for Baskin Robbins. I worked for just a couple of 17 years old, 16, 17 years old. I was working for Baskin Robbins. 18, 19, I was working for Frank Berardi, who was a gangster who owned a place called Copy World in Lodi, New Jersey. Then I went to go work for Alamo. I wrote them a business plan, and I said, "You guys are doing it wrong." I said, "You should do it this way." And I gave him a business plan. I said, "Mel, you're a really nice guy, and we would love to have a few Coronas with you on the weekend, but right now you're fired."
Oh,
So, with that said, when I
that's funny.
realized that I am sort of like, I'm the boss. Okay, I have an alpha. Because I am an alpha male,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And I realized at a very early age when I was growing up, going through this, corporate bullshit, that I was not going to have it. I had to be my own boss, and that therefore I pushed myself into becoming my own boss, and I've been my boss ever since. So when these people were like, "Oh my God, we got to work from home because of COVID-19," and they're like blown away because they didn't know I was already working from home for 30 years, 40
Yeah.
years. I mean, so to me, it was like no big thing. It's like, oh, well, welcome to my world, right?
Mhm.
So, but people have been bamboozled, and people have been maimed by this shot. People have been hurt. People have died. Uh, See, I'm going to give you a story that I think your people will resonate with. I don't think Donald Trump had a choice.
Mm.
Operation Warp Speed, in my opinion, this is just me being
Yeah.
hypothetical, and you're not allowed to, say, hey, you're in trouble for being hypothetical. Anybody can be hypothetical and not get in trouble, right? I think Operation Warp Speed was nothing more than him and the military and some good people inside our medical industry to flood the market with nothing more than placebos, sugar water,
I
saline
heard
water.
that. I heard that theory.
Yeah, and now here's the thing: had Donald Trump saying, "Don't take the shot, don't do it," what was going to happen? For every person that would have died from, right?
Yeah.
For everyone that would have died from that, because dead men and dead women and dead children can't talk. And they would have piled those people up on whose doorstep? Donald Trump's doorstep, to the moon.
Right.
And they would have said, it's his fault. He told them not
Of
to take the
course.
shot.
Yeah.
And you would have had chaos, not just
Mm.
in the United States, worldwide. And so by him flooding the market with the placebo, yes, you're still playing Russian roulette. There's still a 1 in 10 chance or 1 in 20 chance that you get the real one, and
Yeah.
you could get maimed or you could die, right? Or he says, don't take the shot, and then we would have civil war in this country, not just in this country, but every country around the world. Why? Because it was Donald Trump's fault. He said not to take it.
Well,
So by
yeah.
him
I mean, they
by
blame
him
him for.
with the warp speed, bingo, that's what warp speed was.
Yeah,
Now,
it could be. I heard that
the
before.
fact that he just, and I'm in the energy frequency wellness center business, down in Staying Alive with two E's at the end. Staying Alive, the one with one E belongs to the Bee Gees. The one with two E's belongs to
Right.
Mel Carmine. Okay. uh he put a video up the other day about, it was an artificial intelligence video. I caught on immediately. It was Donald Trump, and they put this video, where he put it actually on Truth Social. And when he put it on Truth Social, a day or two later, there was a press conference with the press secretary, and one of the journalists said, hey, what's going on? Donald Trump put this video on about med beds. Now, is he trying to tell us they're coming,
Mm.
or is he trolling us? Those are the only two questions we need to have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think personally, he's trying to tell us we got them,
Yeah.
right? So, somebody said, well, Mel, if that happens, your Staying Alive business in Cape Canaveral on Center Street is going to be out of business. And you know what? If that's the case, wonderful. But I don't think I'll be out of business. I'll think I'm going to have to buy or rent a bigger square footage situation, and turn it into a gym membership, like, $159 a month. And once you go through the med bed and you're 22 years old and you're ready to rumble all over again, and you got genetics that allow you to live to be 1,000 years old, you'll have to
Mm.
come to me to maintain those genetics and those cells optimized at 90 millivolts so that you could live for a very, very long time.
Mm.
So I think it's going to complement actually what we do. So, and
Yeah.
we've had incredible stories we've have reversed stage 4 diabetes, stroke damage, you name it. My friend Greg from down in Brickell, him and his sister Julie. As a matter of fact, Julie came to the center a few months back, and she sent in her blood sample to a lab, an independent lab in Houston, Texas. I'm sure a lot of your listeners know what telomeres are, and your
Mhm.
telomeres are basically your body clock. When they get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they disappear, you're dead. You disappear too. And if they're getting longer, however, and we have, so as a matter of fact, when you walk in through the door at Staying
Mhm.
Alive, on the left-hand side on the wall, there's a laminated piece of two laminated pieces of paper. I urge you to grab those and read them. Her telomeres in 1 month from 1 month to the next, and now she did this on her own independent study, went up by 23%.
Wow.
So we technically have life extension technology sitting right here in Cape Canaveral right now. We got it. That's
Wow.
amazing,
Yeah, that is amazing.
right? That's why
And that's
when I'm
from
not
med
traveling,
bed?
I sleep there.
That's from your med beds that
This is
people are using?
these are 24 screens that sit they're synchronized within 1,000th of an inch of calibration, facing each other in each corner. There's 6 in each corner, and there's about 49 or 50 chairs in the middle of all of that. There's a sofa, there's a couple of beds, etc. And you basically sit there, and the light system is actually going through you at about 1.4 times faster than the speed of light, and it allows your cells to optimize. When your cells are getting, when your cells are down to 10, 15 millivolts, even 20 millivolts is dangerous. Your disease can easily set in and kill you. And when your cells optimize to 70, 80, 90 millivolts, disease starts to go away, because you cannot have a perfectly alkaline body with the cells that are fully optimized at 90 millivolts and disease
Yeah.
live side by side.
Yeah. So
It's
it's
that
like frequency healing then, right?
it is. It's total
Yeah.
frequency. Then we have a plasma med bed. As a matter of fact, it's 2 giant light bulbs on each end. You're sitting on the table. If you put a 4-foot fluorescent bulb right in the middle of it, it lights up. That's how powerful it is. And a lot of people claim that that is helping the bodies dry up the tumors faster than they can explain it to you.
Wow.
Yeah,
So I wanted to talk to you about Agenda 2030 for a
sure.
little bit. Um, that originally was called Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And of course, it was originated by the UN.
Yeah.
And there's a punch list of their mission goals. I'm going to see if I can get it on here. I mean, this just blew me away. Um, let me see if I can get this up here.
How many people
Uh,
are watching you live right now?
oh, I don't know. I don't know at the moment. I won't know until after we're done, because there's radio listeners too. There's a lot of that. So I don't know at this particular moment. But I have this punch list up, and it just boggles my mind that a lot of people aren't taking this as seriously. And this all ties into our freedom of speech and our autonomy as human beings. So the first mission is to have a one world government,
Hmm.
and then a one world cashless currency, obviously. And jump in here anytime you want to comment. One
Yeah.
world military, the end of national sovereignty. So that means we'll just be one unified global people. We won't have any more sovereignty, individual sovereignty anymore. We won't own any more property, individual, because as Klaus Darling from the web said there, that what an evil creature. You will own nothing and be happy. That's his slogan.
Hmm.
The end of the family unit. How can that possibly be a mission goal? I
Well,
can't
first of
fathom
all,
that in my brain.
yeah, first of all, the
God,
word sustainable, we need to get away from that word, because sustainable means that everything's going to sustain and stay the same.
exactly.
That's a word that they have created. Let's make everything sustainable. It's a bullshit word. And they have
Yeah.
think tanks that's all they do is come up with verbiage and words to bamboozle us.
Oh,
And
they're master manipulators of it.
yeah, and they've been doing it since the beginning of time, and it's all being funded by us, the sheeples. We're waking up. Plan 2030, in my opinion, was a real plan, according to the people that think that there's still a chance for them to win, which I don't believe there is. As a matter
Mm,
of fact, I don't think they have a chance in hell. Um, I think that they think that they're going to win, and they're going to enslave everybody in these 15-minute cities, and you're going
yeah,
to have
yeah.
a digital ID, And if you don't do what the banksters and gangsters and the government wants you to do, and if you're a dissident and if you're against the government, you're not going to be able to buy, sell, or buy an airline ticket or a train ticket to go on your business trip. And let me tell you something. Let's just war game this out, if we will.
Mm,
Let's just say they were able to win, and we allow them to roll out this plan 2030, and all of a sudden you need to go, and I'm talking to your audience now. You need to
mhm.
go on a business trip that's really important. You got to close a big deal to keep the food on the table for your family, pay the mortgage, pay the rent, pay the car insurance, whatever. And all of a sudden you said something wrong against the government, and you're not allowed to buy that ticket to get you to that sale
Yeah.
that's going to keep the food on the table. And that happens across the board to millions of people, because you're not going to be the only one. How long do you think that pressure cooker is going to be there
Mm.
for the top pops off and all hell is going to break loose? If you
Not
think
very
that in
long.
America, if you think that in America, where we have a Second Amendment and we do carry, and I got thousands of bullets, and I got plenty of gunpowder, and I got plenty of neighbors who are all ex-military, and I live on an island, I could tell you emphatically that if you were to have bad intentions, you come on my island, you better bring a fleet of
Yeah.
hearses, plenty of body bags, BYOB, bring your own body bag. Okay. Because that shit's not going to fly in America. Now, we're not badasses, and we're not making threats or empty threats. We're telling you that we are hunkered down. We got food supplies, we got guns, we got water, we got generators, we got plenty of bullets, and we will defend our castle at whatever cost.
Well, that's our sovereign right to do
Right.
so. I mean,
So if they want to really push comes to shove, if they were to win, which I don't see, Donald Trump said no central bank digital currency. The XRP Army 1.0, as I like to call them, because they're stuck in that rut, and some of them are still talking central bank digital currency. Shame on you. That's not going to happen. The central bank, we don't need a central bank digital currency for me, for example, Caroline, for me to buy your house or to buy your car or to buy your
right.
jet ski or your boat, whatever. I can send you the money directly peer to peer. That's why they hate the XRP project so much
Sure.
so, because I could send the XRP direct. Hey, say, Carolyn, I want to buy your house, but I want to pay you in XRP, because now let's say the revaluation of wealth has come to manifest, and I'm worth gazillions of dollars. My gazillions of dollars are generating money because my money gets pregnant every month, and it generates more money, right? And I'm making millions of dollars per month, and I want to buy your house in XRP, and you accept XRP, and I can send it directly to your wallet. You probably don't know much about digital assets like I do, but I do. Okay. Do you understand, or do you understand that I could send it directly to your wallet? I don't need another middle person that says,
Yeah.
hey, you have to go through the central bank digital currency before the money gets there. We want to get our piece. No, absolutely not. I send it directly to you. Why do you think we're still in a Mexican standoff? We're still in the Mexican standoff because the banksters and the gangsters have not, they realized when they woke up to this nightmare, they realized,
Exactly.
hey, that's why Ripple got slapped with a 7-year lawsuit. Are you starting to get the picture? They had to slow the whole thing down to try and figure out, hey, how do we carve out a piece of this pie for us?
Yeah.
So Brad Garlinghouse said, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to get you the central bank digital currency. He was basically fluffing their balls.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? He was making them feel good. We knew because we've been at this for 10 years. I bought my first XRP at 0.002 of a penny. We invested $50, and with $50 we bought 25,000 XRP.
Wow.
You can't do that anymore.
Oh,
25,000 XRP today will cost you $75,000. So
yeah.
10 years ago, I invested $50. That $50 today is worth $75,000. Go do that at your local bank. Good luck with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, we need to protect it as much as possible, like you said, to keep it out of the claws of the government. Um, I mean, look at what they're doing too with geotagging and geofencing. Um, they're monitoring us where we go. Look at the perfect example with Charlie Kirk's funeral. Well, it wasn't really a funeral, his ceremony that he had, right? They tracked 200 and I think 55,000 people outside of the facility by geotagging. Now, we didn't give people permission to do that to our phones, to geofence and geotag our phones. So
Yeah.
how do they get the authority
Well,
to do these
so
things?
Trump is launching Trump Telecom, right? The communications
Right,
company is going to be cell phones. Guess what? If you don't want to be tracked, because he has no reason to track you or know your buying habits and all that, and sell your
right.
data to all these government cabal companies, okay, you switch from T-Mobile, AT&T to Trump Mobile. That's what I'm
Yeah.
switching to.
Oh,
You
are
see,
you?
that's how you stick your finger in the eye of the cabal.
Yeah.
You
Is
have
that
you have
available?
choices.
I-
It's
Is
going to
that
be
available?
it's going to be available very soon. They're working on launching this. They've already made the announcement. Probably by middle of next year, it's going to become a reality, and I'll be the first customer. I don't care if it costs me
Yeah.
$10 more per phone, and I got 6 different lines. I don't care. I would rather my money goes to Donald Trump. Yeah, well, Donald Trump is going to make a lot of money with cryptocurrency. Yes, he actually lost $5 billion becoming president in
Yeah.
2016. Okay, and I said, you know what, this guy's going to probably ride the wave on cryptocurrency, or he's going to write a book, and everybody in the world, because he's such a dynamo, everybody in the world is going to buy that 29.99 book, and he's going to make $5 per book, and he's going to sell 1 billion, and he gets his $5 billion back, just like that. It's
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah. If you understand the things that are going on behind the scenes, I live in the crypto world heavily,
Mhm.
with Donald Trump and the kids, and he was live on Patrick David the other day, and he said, "Oh yeah, they were talking about Ethereum, Bitcoin, and
Yeah.
XRP," and then he was, "Oh yeah, I'm good friends with Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple," and all of a sudden the conversation went on a little further, and he mentions Ethereum and Bitcoin, and he was about to, and he slipped. He sort of took it back. He was going to say what? XRP. They don't
Mhm.
want people to know about the XRP. History not necessarily rhymes, but it does repeat itself. I was privy to know about the Bitcoin when it was 000 and a number 8, which means for $1 you could have bought 800 Bitcoins. You understand? You get that? 800
Absolutely,
Bitcoins,
yeah.
800 Bitcoins
Yeah.
at $120,000 today's price would have made you
Mhm.
fabulously wealthy. God forbid you would have thrown $100 at it, the price of having a sushi dinner with your wife, where it gives you
Yeah.
parasites, not to get off track. But anyway,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Well,
saying,
let
right?
me ask let
You
me
can
ask you
become
this.
fabulously wealthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. When you were, making this movie, you had to think about a lot before you put pen to paper and started mapping
Oh,
things
yeah,
out. So
yeah. You saw the outtakes, right?
what do you think did this I'm sure this crossed your mind, like, what's the difference between, like, a simple disagreement or a criticism or outright censorship or suppression when it comes to public discourse? Because it kind of all starts there.
Yeah, well, when we put the wording together, we had to be able to find the best pieces online, recruit a bunch of podcasters who said, "Yes, you're right, Mel. I'm being censored. I'm going to join your movement. I'm going to be part of that movie." Uh, and we couldn't have never done it without the team. I mean, we have an
Mm,
incredible team of people that understood the vision day one, and they got behind the vision, and they were all pushing like crazy. And it puts me in a very emotional situation right now, knowing that they want the movie. I thought we were DOA, dead on arrival, when Charlie got shot. I said, "Oh my
yeah,
God." I mean, I don't. It's a shame that the guy supposedly got shot. I don't think it was the guy on the roof. Not to get off subject, I think the whole thing's convoluted. I think the story that they're selling to the American people is a bullshit story. But nevertheless, it took the wind out of our sails to be able to get that movie out to the masses, because there was a massive movement. Had Charlie been here, and
Mm.
Charlie was still been alive today, I'm sure that him and his wife would have gotten behind this movie, because he was all about to stop the censorship, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Now,
so
just
imagine
to be
having a
clear
Charlie.
to be clear to people, your documentary came out on the 9th. He was assassinated on the 10th. Is that
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely correct. So
Okay.
imagine if there was no incident, and Charlie was still here today, and Charlie would have gotten behind this movement. Charlie would have gotten this movie to Donald Trump faster than anybody on planet Earth, because he was like he actually had Donald Trump on speed dial. He can actually
Oh,
call
sure.
Donald Trump directly
Yeah.
with his cell phone.
And I
One
think
of the
another
first.
thing you negated to state is that you're not charging a penny to watch
Zero,
this movie. There's
zero.
no ads. You're not getting any ad revenue. This is all a passion project for you,
This is a
correct?
passion project. We're not charging anything because we feel that we're being wronged by the town square, who thinks they control the microphone, and we're going to put an end to it. And we're going to. It seems that we have created a movement, a team behind us at this point that wants to push it to whatever limits it takes. These girls behind, and I got a lot of women behind me. They really get it. Not that the guys don't, but there's a few people out there, names, and you know who you are. Okay, they think that by them showing up and putting the uniform on and getting bloody a little bit like the rest of us, that they're doing us a favor. You're not. Don't give yourself that much credibility. You're not that important. Okay, and it aggravates me because they don't understand the vision. They don't get the vision. They don't understand the end goal, the mission. Okay. I got these people behind us that work with Millie Weaver, who used to work with Alex Jones, who's an incredible human being. And their channel on X.com. See, it's not about me, it's about everybody winning. Their channel,
Mhm.
go follow on X.com, is American Mission. Go follow them. These people watched our movie, the producers of some of their documentaries and shows that they put on, watched our movie, and by the end of our movie, they were brought to tears. You see? So they called us. They said, "Hey, we love this movie. We streamed it live on our channel. We got like 24,000 views. We want to do another live stream. We're not going to let this thing with Charlie Kirk stop what this movie is all about. And I think everybody on planet Earth should watch it." Great. With that, I said, you know what? I'm going to take the $2,386 that was donated, and I'm going to literally take that money and put it towards the software. And I drove my editing staff crazy, because they kept sending me little pieces, and it looked like the old kung fu movies with the translation where the lips wasn't synchronized. Finally, we found the perfect software. I'm not going to mention which software that is, and he sent me a piece, and I said, "Bro, where did you find this?" He said, "Mel, there's only one problem." I said, "What's the problem?" "It's expensive."
Mm.
Said, "Hey, when the calculator came out, it was expensive too. When the microwave came out, it was expensive too. At some
Yeah.
point, right? The technology gets better, and right. So I said, whatever it costs, I really don't care. I want to do it. I'll spend all the money that was donated. And thank you to all the people that made a donation, that
Mhm.
understand, that overstand the fight that we're in. I thank you so much. You know, and $5, $10, $20, this is
Sure,
nothing.
it adds up. It
It's
adds up,
nothing,
though.
right? And so we need, because I didn't know that I had a knack for this, and so we started to word this thing out, and we went back and forth for months and months and months and months to try and get the wording just right, and to tell a story, a very compelling one at that, so that we can pull the heartstrings and get people to take action, which is exactly, ironically, what's happened at this point. We are literally at the precipice of talking directly to Millie Weaver, this American mission group of ladies that are behind the movie 100%, are working with her already. They said, "Hey, we'll put you two together." You were on the live call yesterday. You heard that. So we're going to be working together to some capacity. Now she's going to put it on one of her channels to get it some massive exposure. And Millie's been at podcasting much longer than Mel Carmine. I got pushed into this by default. I told you I was in the energy deregulation business, and all of a sudden COVID-19,
Yeah.
and I had to switch gears and do something
Yeah.
else. If somebody came to me 8 years ago, said, "Hey, in 2021 or 2020, you're going to become a podcaster," I said, "You're out of your mind."
Well, the universe puts you exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
So I fully believe that. Do you have a plan? Like, say, hypothetically, if Donald Trump was so moved by your documentary and he contacted you and he said, Mel, let's have a meeting. How are we going to tackle this? I mean, this is just a fantasy scenario, right? Do you have a plan of action on how to counteract the suppression of our voices?
Well, I am pretty outspoken. I am a believer in the American dream. I am a believer in the entrepreneur spirit. I'm a believer in free speech, which is what this country was founded on. And I don't think that I would be intimidated to talk to the man himself, Donald Trump. I think I am so ready for prime time. What I'm lacking is only one thing: a little
Mm,
bit of this, right? And somebody who can come in and really put me in front of interviews such as yours. I'm ready for prime time. I've been doing this for 5 years almost. I'm not going to say I'm the best that's out there, but I'm as good as any, you
yeah.
know, and I can hold my own. I'm not nervous because she hit the record button, for example. I'm not stuttering my speech. I'm talking clearly as if I'm having a conversation with her.
Yeah.
If we're sitting at a cafe having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, right? It doesn't matter. I'm not intimidated by the camera anymore. I've grown accustomed to it. So for me to sit across the way from a Donald Trump and ask him some very pointed questions about where do we go from here and how do we fix this? And
Mm,
do you think that we should do X, Y, and Z, and get him to answer not just me, but the people, the podcasters, right? Because the podcasters who are out there breaking their ass, literally, to try and bring you guys truths, their truth, not necessarily is your truth, but there's enough people in that audience that will resonate with what they said. For example, I never thought, for example, that I thought I was going to be a flat earther. I'm a flat earther. I hate to tell you, when you're in an airplane, and I know, listen, I got friends of mine who are very popular folks. Okay. As a matter of fact, my good friend that I'm cultivating, XRP Shaman, they're going to be starting a show that will be parlayed over into a workshop at Staying Alive. So people can come into the workshop
yeah.
and learn about the financial system that's coming, the new financial system, which is going to be XRP, which is the Bitcoin 5.0, and learn how to get off the grid with a religious, what is it, irrevocable religious trust, where we take everything and give it to God, and learn how to
Mm,
defend that, so that, because we've never had one challenge. My friend's been doing like 800 of these. See, so this is what we're moving towards. Okay. So, the bottom line becomes that we have to show Donald Trump where we want to go, right? It's not about, the plan, trust the plan. The plan says, no, get off your ass and do something about the plan. The plan
yeah.
includes you. The
Yeah.
plan includes you, Carolyn, right? Everybody's got to do something. Everybody doing a little bit, making some noise. Listen, I'm not here for a popularity contest, like I've said before. If you guys out there think that you're just as good as Mel Carmine or anybody, the Nino Rodriguez's of the world, who are also being stifled, by the way, go get a microphone, hit the record button. Don't worry
Yeah.
about fucking it up. Don't worry about fumbling the ball. It's part of the process. And just have a conversation, because I meet these people when, how many times I get called into Staying Alive at like 11 o'clock at night. I had a gentleman and his wife drive all the way from Mississippi to come to my center to meet me, Mel Carmine. I'm not a big deal, but it really gets your heartstrings, because these people really, they have developed this relationship with this guy that they sort of love on camera, and I'm in bed. What am I going
Yeah.
to say? Oh, tell them I can't make it? No, I jump into my clothes because it's the right thing to do, and I go and meet those people who drove 12 hours, 14 hours to come see me. Okay. And so, anybody could do this, is what I'm saying. And if some of you become more popular than Nino Rodriguez or myself or Carol Ann, so wonderful. That's great because that's how we win the war. This is not about me. This is not about Carolyn. This is about defeating a new world order. And it takes every single one of you. A microphone, you get a cheap one on Amazon for $65. Decent.
Yeah.
Okay. You got a
Yeah.
computer, plug it in, start a channel, go on YouTube, say, how do I start a channel on YouTube? They'll give you a tutorial, they'll walk you through. It's very easy, it's not that difficult. You're pressing the same freaking buttons over and over again. It's like 12 buttons. Once you learn those 12 buttons, you're done. You're home
Yeah.
free. And then you get a microphone, you invite a few people that you were having these conversations with, like the people from Mississippi. I'm sitting there
Yeah.
having amazing conversations. I'm saying, if I had all the money in the world where I have a camera crew follow me around, the best podcasts in the world never get recorded. That's a fact.
That's true.
And we
That
talk
is
about
true.
the stuff that should be on the air, but it's not on the air. Get a microphone, start speaking out. If you get big, don't worry about it. Just don't let it get to your head. Have fun with it and be yourself. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Because
Yeah.
people, if you're a phony, people will smell you out.
Oh, yeah,
That's
they smell it right out. How do you think the loss of our freedom of speech became so pervasive? It's everywhere. It's in Hollywood, on television, of course, on almost every platform of social media. And I know a lot of people complain about X still too, that they're getting shadow banned, they're not getting paid their money, they're getting demonetized. How do you think that like one side gets to say whatever they want about their platform and the other side is just a wipeout? Everything they say is suppressed, censored, the whole
because
works. How
if
is
you
that
have,
possible?
it is very possible because if you have gone to school, our liberal colleges, our liberal grammar
Right.
school, our liberal pre-kindergarten, it starts way, way, way in the beginning when you're young, and they get to your brain because you're young and you're susceptible, and they're able to feed you with a bunch of junk. There is an agenda. These communist bastards, these fascists, and that's what they are. They
Yeah.
have infiltrated your school system, kindergarten, grammar school, high school, college, your
Yeah.
local police department, your local
Uh-huh.
city hall, your local county government. They have infiltrated every aspect of your life. So if you have sent your kids to school and they have become good little communists, then you can start a channel. And if you talk that communism bullshit, liberal nonsense about transgender and trans testicles is what I call them, right? Is that a good name for them? Trans testicles? I think these people are sick in the head. Okay. If you're gay, that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I
But
don't care what anybody
don't
does. Just
stop your shit off. Keep your
keep
shit,
it in your house. Keep it in your house. Keep it
right?
in lock your bedroom door. Do
Right.
whatever you need
And
to
don't
do.
push it on my kids.
Exactly. That's the main problem right there.
Don't push your shit on my kids. Keep that
Yeah.
shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm a heterosexual guy. I don't make out with my wife or when we were dating early on, 15 years ago in public. It's tacky.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel two guys making out and Netflix and Prime and all these movie channels trying to push this shit down my throat. What is that supposed to make me turn gay? Because
And let me
listen,
tell you, a
I have
lot of
nothing
the
against gay people. I
yeah,
got I
yeah,
got my good friend Santi who works at the center. He's gay, and you know what? We like him to be gay. You know why?
mm,
Because that's how
mm.
we met him. That's how we know him. That's how we're used to him.
Well, that's who he
He,
is,
that's
right?
who he is. He's a gay guy, and I'm okay with it. But he doesn't kiss his boyfriend in front of me and my wife.
Right. Well, that's
Keep that
part
shit
of
away from kids.
pushing. That's part of the pushing of the agenda. They and a lot of the especially men that I've seen and know that are part of the LGBTQ whatever plus,
Yeah,
they're not happy with what they're doing, promoting this to children. And, they're speaking out against it too. There's such a thing as morals and values. And that goes across the board to everybody, regardless of your sexual orientation, whatever. Like I always say, I don't care what you do, just don't infect the children with it, and don't stick it in my face. I don't need to see it. I don't
Exactly.
need to see it. It's that simple.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
everywhere. It's pervasive. It's
Yeah,
everywhere.
but where I'm not racist, and I have nothing against gay
Absolutely.
people. I have nothing
Right.
against transgender people. You wanna do that? Go, knock yourself out, but don't push it on people who are heterosexual, who don't have the same genetics composition as you do, because you behave in a certain way, we behave in a certain way. Respect my wishes, I will
And I'll
respect yours,
respect
but
yours.
don't push
Absolutely.
your shit on the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of battles are you still facing in terms of suppression? Your film. Are you getting
Oh my god.
yeah,
I
tell me.
have to go there. Well, listen, the word "Dear Mr. President"
Right.
alone is already in the algorithms. How sure am I? I'd be willing to bet my balls.
Wow. How did you discover that? Do you have the numbers, or did you
Oh
do
yeah.
any digging into the yeah.
Listen, I'll give you an example. A good friend of mine by the name of Joby Weeks. I've done some incredible interviews in my life, and he was right up there in the top three, the top five best interviews I've ever given, ever done. And this is not to get off track, but it's a great story to tell for your audience.
Mhm.
Joby is a genius. I mean, he's really a living genius. He's 180 IQ all day long. And I could tell you that when I went to go see him in Colorado and did that interview, and I brought a film crew with me, my good friend Scotty, we call him Scotty Biscotti, and we did that interview. It came out so awesome. I said, "Oh, this interview is definitely going to break the algorithms of YouTube." I was getting, listen, I have one channel's got 52,000, just barely 52,000. The other one's got barely 14,000. Another channel's got 30,000. I got a bunch of channels. Anyway, long story short, I said, I'm going to put this on my main channel on YouTube. And I bet you we're going to bust the algorithms because everybody's going to want to share this. Just to send me a message. They kept that. Now, normally I would get 4,000, 4,000, 5,000 views. That was the average. On a channel that's got 52,000 people, I can only get, and I used to get a hell of a lot more. For example, when I was at 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, I would get 100,000 views, 200,000 views. And now that
Wow.
I got 52,000, I'm getting less and less and less because of the, ratcheting down. I said, I'm going to break the algorithms.
Mhm.
And it didn't happen. They sent me a message. You know how they did that? Videos that I would normally get 4,000, 5,000 views, this video deliberately. And I know when you're talking to me with the numbers, I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I know when you, and they left it under 900 views,
Wow.
under 900 views for 3 solid weeks. They wouldn't,
With
and
no
today,
movement.
yeah, no movement. They said, you think you're going to break the algorithms? Let me show you who the boss is.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what happened was that video is still on my channel today. Joby, who was instrumental in seeing the future of Bitcoin way in the beginning when Bitcoin was $3, was mining Bitcoin at $3. He was able to mine 92,000 Bitcoins, and the government gangsters came in, the FBI, and they have him under house arrest. They have him. They have him. They put him in prison for 11 months, from bounced from prison to prison to prison to prison. And they never told him what state or what prison or what county in the United States he was at any given time, trying to break him because they want his Bitcoin. And they keep asking till today, give us the keys to your wallet. And he keeps telling them, fuck you. You ain't getting
Yeah.
the keys to my wallet. It was
Yeah.
a great interview. It was a fantastic interview. I
Mhm.
didn't interrupt. It was flawless. And I thought I was going to break the algorithms. No, no. They sent me the message saying, hey, listen, I interviewed David Straight back in the day. I had 6,800 followers. And that interview in that weekend got 119, no, I'm sorry, 219,000 views.
Wow.
6,000 219,000 views. Today I got 52,000, and I can't. My best video is maybe 7, 8,000 because it's
Are you talking on YouTube or
YouTube.
cumulatively?
Rumble,
YouTube.
same thing. Rumble is owned by predominantly now BlackRock. Rumble is
Oh, yeah,
just bad as
I know.
YouTube. Okay, so we can't get the message out. This is
Yeah,
going to have to come to a stop. Someone has to win, and someone's going to lose. And I'm a Brooklyn kid. I'm not trying to be a tough guy, but I am a
me
tough guy.
too.
Okay, I'm gonna kick their ass because I don't fight fair. I figure out ways that they can't even see me coming. And I'm gonna
But
tell
you're
you,
right, you can't do it alone. You
no,
can't
I know that.
you can't
I know
yeah,
that.
so, like,
Yeah,
that was one of the reasons why when I first saw, your trailer, I was so moved by it, and I said, "I gotta talk to this guy because it's it's a topic that everyone on the entire globe
mhm,
it should be at their top of their worry list if you have one.
yeah,
A top of your punch list for things to
yeah,
be concerned about." So,
exactly.
yeah, I
That's
feel
why I
that way.
changed the name of my editor, my chief editor, and I said from now on your name is Mr. Goodluck because I like to surf some very dangerous waters, and I don't want you and your family to be a target. So just
Right.
stay behind the curtain. So he understands
That's
that. But
sad.
the next one that we do, I said this one's going to be extremely dangerous. Please stay stay incognito.
I mean, how
So he
sad is that, right?
well, look, someone's gonna do it. I'm not afraid to die.
Yeah,
Not that I believe that they're gonna come kill me, but you never know.
yeah.
But the next one, I will piss off 8 billion people on planet Earth. Once I show what I need to show and
Ooh.
prove what I need to prove, 8 billion people are gonna be fucking royally pissed off.
Do we get a hint at the topic or no? Nothing?
You will when the movie is about 85% in its completion stage, and we're close to releasing it. Like we're 2 weeks away from release. That's when I'm going to ask all the podcasters. I'm going to tell them what the subject matter is. I'm going to tell them what the movie's about, and they're going to say, "Oh my god, it's brilliant!" And then you're going to give me your 25-second piece at the most. It doesn't call more than 20-25 seconds. We're not going to accept anything more. You can't be a 1 minute and 25 seconds. It has to be 20-25 at the most. We haven't really decided on the actual number of seconds. You're going to get your message across loud and clear. And the
Yeah.
last one had 45. This one is going to have 47 podcasters because Donald Trump was the 45th and the 47th. And so we're going to match those numbers. And
Mm,
so it's going to be Dear Mr. President Part Two, and there's going to be a subtitle to it. That's where you'll know what it's about. When you read the subtitle, you're like, oh my god! But it's going to be very. I think this one should go hyper viral. Hopefully by then, this movie Part One gets
right.
to the government, and they say, yeah,
Yeah,
these guys are right. You notice I
yeah,
said these guys because this is not about me. This is about everybody winning.
right.
Okay. And like I said earlier, if I said to you, I'll give you $1 million in 6 months. If you push this movie, I'll give you $1 million in writing backed by a bond. That if you push this movie every single day for the next 6 months, we're going to get to the government. We're going to level the playing field. And you got the charisma to get to 1 million followers, which means if each person is worth a dollar a year to you, that's $1 million income that they're stealing from you right now, which
Well,
is wrong.
YouTube pays nothing.
They don't pay
All
anything.
of these companies
You got to
pay
sell
nothing.
merchandise. You got to sell
You
things.
can't go by
Yeah,
views.
no,
You can't go by this unless you're some, 16-year-old influencer, which I can't stand that they call them influencers. I don't want to be influenced by these people. That's for
no.
sure. Um,
Like Mr.
what do
Beast, who
you
I think is an inside guy.
that whole thing, I can't wrap my brain around it. What do you think are the real world consequences when a significant portion of the population wakes up and knows that their voices are really being suppressed? Because I don't think we're there yet. I don't
Well,
think people
I always say
realize.
don't waste your time with people who are normies. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah. I say always don't waste your time with people who are normies. Don't waste your time with people who are believe that CNN is still telling them the truth. Don't put your energy into somebody who's starting to ask questions. They're sort of on the fence. You want to go after the low hanging fruit. Don't try to become like a Jehovah's Witness of what we do, because that's the wrong approach, trying to shove it down somebody's throat. I would rather talk to somebody who's half awake, because I know I
Right.
can get him the rest of the way there, than to
Right.
somebody that's completely asleep
Oh, yeah, you're
and
banging
thinks
your
that the
head up
government
against the wall.
and thinks
Yeah,
the government loves you,
yeah.
and that
Oh,
that medical procedure is the best thing since sliced bread.
yeah.
I look. I live in this mansion, and it's like 6,000 square feet. My landlord carved out 1,700 square feet, which I live in. Me and my wife with my two adopted dogs from Costa Rica, stray dogs, and he is a very nice guy, intelligent, hardworking, makes a ton of money, but he is a liberal. Him and I do not
Oh,
talk
boy.
politics because he's completely on the other side of the spectrum. Well,
Yeah.
him and I are on one page that we both get along on. Everybody should love each other. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay, but once you start talking politics, and their sense of politics is warped, and it's not anywhere near what we look. He's a war veteran. He was in, and he does have Iraqi dinars that he got when he was in Iraq. Okay, and he believes that the Iraqi dinar. We actually are on the same page on the Iraqi dinars. So, but
Yeah.
so we just don't try to stay away from the politics of it all, because
Well, you know what it is too, like that like my husband, God rest his soul, he passed away 4 years ago, during that whole COVID thing, which I won't even get
yeah,
into that. That was a whole freaking nightmare. But anyway, he was like a blue dog Democrat, my husband,
yeah,
like an old school blue dog Democrat. And when he saw the Democrats of today, he was in shock. Like it's the same thing where people say, I didn't leave the Democratic Party, they left me, like that kind of thing.
yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's
It's
nice to see people like Candace Owens. 8 years ago, 9 years ago, when she landed on Alex Jones, that's when she started to make her
yeah.
transition to turn over. But before that, she was part of the plantation.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Everybody wakes up in their own. Like I said, I never talk really politics, or because I respect everyone's politics. I really do. If you have a set of beliefs, whether they're religious or political, I completely respect them. I have absolutely no problem with them. Um, it's just when you start censoring and damaging the spirit of other people. And I wanted to ask you about that. What I know you're a spiritual guy, because
yes.
I listen to a lot of your past podcasts and talks and things. What do you think this is doing to us on a spiritual level?
Well, the people who are spiritually inclined and we're connected to source, we could see everything because we're guided by a force, a light, divine intervention, call it whatever you
Absolutely.
want, that other people can't see because they're not spiritually inclined. They're not, they're not, and I'm not talking about being religious. I'm talking about being spiritually connected, to care
Exactly.
for other human beings, to want to help, because we're moving into, whether you like to believe it or not, it sounds hokey pokey to some of you. I get that. However, we're moving into a very different kind of world that most people are not going to understand or understand,
Right.
because we've had the Stephen L. Klaus on, and that video, I've been circulating that video at nauseum. He is let's call him, for lack of a better term, the CEO of Space Force. He is actually the general who runs Space Force, that was created by whom? Donald J. Trump. He's talking to a bunch of college professors and college students, a very prestigious college, telling them that we have the pieces on the working benches. And I know the engineers, I've known them for 30 years. We have the pieces to build a machine that can fly you anywhere on planet Earth to anywhere else on planet Earth.
Hmm.
And I'm here to tell you that if you don't believe that teleportation exists, that technology, even though it's getting ready to come out, hopefully in the next couple of years, is already outdated. We have You can literally disintegrate here and reappear somewhere else. We have portals that you could travel through portals, and Donald Trump talks about how powerful we are. I hope nobody ever messes with us. We have technology that defies logic, and he's telling these people at the college campus to all the professors, the alumni, etc., that we have the working pieces on the bench, and he knows the engineers for 30 years. Mind you, this is, I repeat, the general who runs Space Force, Stephen L. Klaus. Look him up.
Oh,
And he's telling them that we have machines that we're going to be able to build that we can fly anywhere. No, no. He had to word it that way because the average normie would absolutely self combust.
yeah,
And
cognitive dissonance they
right.
have.
So we've had technologies like this at Area 51, S4, Wright Patterson, Dulce in Utah, underground installations that are huge, over 6,000 patents patented. If you were, if they were to break the doors of those vaults open, I will tell this to the American people in no uncertain terms, you would be confused
Yeah.
as to which free energy technology you want, which
Yeah,
machine you want in your garage,
correct.
which robot you want to clean and cook and
Yeah.
sweep and vacuum your and make your bed in the morning. You would be confused
Hmm.
the amount of technology that they've been hitting from you. And if they were to release all of it or half of it, it would literally catapult us to 2,000 years from where we are right now. But they've been deliberately holding humanity down because of their own selfish reasons,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? And
I fully agree with that.
nobody even asked the question. I mean, we're still driving an extension of a Model T Ford. We're driving on four goddamn rubber tires for crying out
Yeah.
loud. Are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Somebody is controlling that situation for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And we know that this technology is real. Not only do we know it's real, we know that they don't have to build it. They had to word it that way because there's a lot of normies, and he's got to do it in such a docile
Sure.
so
Yeah.
that the average
Well, it's
person
the
can
same thing
digest.
with exactly. It's the same thing with disclosure with our UAPs. They can't come out and tell us the exact truth. They have to kind of spoon feed it to you so that you don't blow your mind.
I mean, think 125 years we are driving an extension of a Model T Ford and someone else is controlling that situation. Yes, a Model T Ford didn't have AM, FM stereo and cassette decks and 8 tracks. And then we went to CDs and all the bullshit, right? And, anti lock brakes and the chair that massages your balls, whatever, right?
Mhm.
All the trimmings. They got to keep you entertained. They got to keep you engaged and give you all these new functionalities to fluff your balls so that you
Absolutely.
stay engaged and you stay. It's a movie.
Yeah. What's that? Feed them bread and milk. I mean, it's just like the Roman, Colosseum with the when they had lions killing the soldiers there.
They could keep
That's
us on four
that's
rubber
exactly the
tires.
point.
Yeah, if they could
Exactly
keep us
right.
on four rubber tires for the next 30 years, they will
Unreal.
do it. They will do it.
They
Why?
will.
Because the
They
car
will.
drives itself now. You could go sit in the back seat, but
Oh yeah.
you're still on four rubber tires. You feeling me?
It's interesting because a lot of people are discovering the truth about Tartaria now and the
Yeah.
mud floods. It's
Yes.
all over the internet. People
It's all real.
slowly are beginning to wake up and see the truth. What do
Our
you think?
problem, our problem is that we have to wait for these
Yeah,
normies to wake up because
right.
by the time they get to where we're at right now, it'll be another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's aggravating being us watching you guys thinking that we're nuts, and we say, "Hey, stop using Colgate toothpaste, please, so that your
Yeah.
pineal gland can open up and start to work
Yeah.
properly." Right?
Well, our war system is tainted. Our food supply is tainted. Our pharmaceuticals are tainted. I mean, if you look at the Georgia Guidestones, it said before somebody blew it up, which I think was
Mhm,
an absolute setup as well.
mhm.
The very first commandment was to keep the population under 500,000.
Yes.
That's what their goal is. And there's a lot of evil people like Gates who have come out and said we could reduce the population if we do vaccines correctly. I mean, these people make these statements out loud. We
In
hear
the open,
them.
out in the open.
We hear them.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, but look, for example, at Staying Alive in Cape Canaveral, our healing center, you can come there, stage 4 cancer, and your body, once it's in that system, it is your body. These machines are not medical devices. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving
mhm,
you medical advice. What I'm telling you is I've seen this, like my good friend Rhonda, okay, from Titusville, right up the road, stage 4 cancer. Hey, listen, I hate to tell you, when she came there, she was not in shape.
mm,
And she said, "Do you think that this is going to work? Do you think that we even have a shot at this?" And I said, "Rhonda, what do we got to lose? The testimonials are out there. I know that this has worked for other people, but I'm the one that came up with the idea that this is a long-term situation. You can't not have stage 3, stage 4 cancer, and you're going to come to Staying Alive and stay for 3 hours, and boom. I wish that was the case. That's not the
yeah,
case. I'm telling you,
yeah,
the bad news is you're going to have to come live with us for a few
yeah.
months,
Commitment. Yeah, it's a
right?
commitment.
And you're in there 24 hours a day. We have 24-hour packages that we custom tailor make to your budget. As a matter of fact, if you guys are out there and you guys know somebody that's in Cape Canaveral or Florida for that matter, because people drive 3-4 hours, people drive from Mississippi to come see me. Okay, you should tell everybody, hey, there's a technology. You don't have to go the route of a chemotherapy. You could do this other thing, non-invasive. Yes, you're going to be living there with us for a month or 2 or 3. I've turned around. My friend Greg had prostate cancer. He had a damage. Half his face is uh, from a paralysis from a stroke. Couldn't speak properly. Couldn't walk properly. A mess. Okay, he stayed there for 3 months. I wish I could tell you he stayed there for 2 days and it was all gone. No, but he believed in the system. He was spiritual. He's able to
Right.
see the vision that we know is true. We're not pushing medical advice
No,
here.
you have to be
Human
open.
frequency.
You have to be open to it. I would imagine. But you'd have to
Don't you
believe
think that
it.
everybody, like, if you want to take the war to the medical industry, Carolyn, don't you think that everybody that watches this show right now should pick up the phone? You know, people in Florida, you know, people in Brevard County, you know, people in Miami. Say, go see Mel Carmine. He's 75% cheaper than I am, but I have a lot of chairs, so I can still make a decent living. Okay. I make it up on the volume. Okay. But you're going to get a price break from all the other centers that have my identical technology by 70, 75, 80% in some cases, right? That's why people come to our center. And the more people in the system, because we're made up of what? We're made up of water. 70, 75% of our bodies
Yeah,
are made up of
that's true.
water. And water
Yeah.
conducts what? Energy. So if there's more people in the room, the energy goes up by a factor of what? 5 times. So if you're spending $1,000, for example, your $1,000 because the place is packed now acts like $5,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So you want everybody.
absolutely.
What did you want? And I'm talking to you, the public out there. What did you want us to put the medical industry out of business? Not because I'm a doctor, not because I
Yeah,
own some wild technology that's a medical device. It's not a medical device. It's the body that heals the body once the body is fully
right.
optimized to 90 millivolts. It's simple.
Yeah.
Now, how long do we have to wait, Carolyn, for the people to get to where we're at and know
Oh,
that this is an absolute fact?
yeah, it's gonna take a minute, that's for sure. What do you think that like, we believe we have freedom of speech. Well, in certain circumstances, we do. What do you think your responsibility is now that you've put this documentary out there and you're fully dedicated to it? You have a part 2 coming. How do you see your responsibility moving forward?
I hate to tell you, but for my safety, when the part 2 comes out, I will disappear, and I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to disappear. I'm not going to do it through
Thought I heard you
conventional.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it through conventional means like buying an airline ticket and leaving a paper trail of where I'm at, but I will, I promise you, disappear. I'm very creative when it comes to stuff. And I may disappear for 6 months, 8 months, maybe even a year. It all depends on how bad we beat the New World Order. If I see that we have decimated the New World Order in 6 months from now, I'll stay put. I'll stay exactly where I'm at. But if I see that the New World Order still has a lot of our money that we paid into their system, and they're using that money, our money, to us, and that there's still a formidable adversary, yes, I will pick up and leave, and I will take
Why?
my
Why do you is that for your safety? Like
for
for
my
the
safety.
safety? Yeah.
Yeah, for my safety. Because when I say that I'm going to piss off 8 billion people in America and the whole world, 8 billion, all the whole world. When I show the proof of what I'm going to show the proof of to
Wow.
all 8 billion people, and they say, "Holy shit!" and we do it on a fifth grade level of education, where I don't care how smart you are, or if you're mid intelligence, or you're advanced intelligence, or you're low intelligence, everybody's going to understand what that is, and they're going to say, "Holy shit!" And when that happens, and people get royally pissed off, and they're going to demand that their governments give them the answers that they're looking for, and I prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, at that point I have to disappear,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think it's going to become very dangerous, and I
What's
don't
your
mind doing
circle?
this. Yeah, I don't mind doing this. It's not like I'm trying to I'm not afraid to die. I've been here
Mm,
before. They're going to send me back again, and every
yeah.
time I come back, I'm more dangerous than the last time. Okay, so I don't think they're going to get to me, and I'll wait. If I still feel that they have a formidable fight left in them, I will wait until the everything calms down, and I'll come back at the right
Yeah.
time.
So you'll
Yeah,
use your judgment. What's your circle of trust like? You must have like a small circle of trust, right?
there,
Especially
there's maybe
relating.
there's maybe 5, 6 people that are
Yeah.
very, very close to me that I would trust with my life. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would think so.
and my wife being right at the top of that list.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and when we got married, I says, "Listen," I said, "if you want to get married to me, you have to be able to make the shot. You have to be able to kill somebody
Yeah.
to defend me.
Yeah.
Able to do that?" She said, she looked at me square in the eye. She said, "Yes." I said, "Good. Now we can get
And
married."
then you knew, yeah.
So it's a Sicilian vow.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's funny. That's funny.
but
So,
anyway,
yeah.
yeah. So needless to say, we're going to start production, like I said, in about 2 weeks, 2 3 weeks. You can always go to dearmrpresident.net, dear MR President, as you see on the screen. If you want to follow us and what we do and our channels, you can go to QFS, which stands for Quantum Financial System, 1776.com, and you can follow
Mhm.
us there. We got a bunch of new merchandise coming out that's going to be the most amazing swag you'll ever see. And just follow us, because look, we don't know everything about everything, but we're constantly digging and talking to smart people and comparing notes, and then we try to bring you the most valuable information forward, so that you guys, have a chance. This is a fight. Like I said earlier, a lot of people are not going to make it, and I can tell you that uh, people think that the other side is DOA, dead on arrival. We've paid them way too much money for me to buy that bullshit story.
Yeah.
And we paid them literally quadrillions of dollars over the years. The only way this really, for me to really get, like I say, encouragement, would be for Donald Trump to literally unleash hell on earth with the army. Now he's doing that with the what do you call it, over there in with the
Chicago?
National Guard over in.
Chicago?
No, and
Portland?
he's getting ready to go to Chicago, but he's already doing it in Portland. I,
Portland.
I think, yeah, I think this is part of the operation. But I think if I was Donald Trump, I don't give a shit who criticizes him, who wants to criticize this
Oh, he
man.
don't care.
He don't care. He's here to make sure that the United States of America, the republic, gets restored. Number one,
Right.
and we thrive. Number two, We made more money during McKinley, okay, William McKinley back in the day.
Yeah.
We had more money than we know what to do with. And he's running on that plan. He wants to tax the people who want to do business with the United States of America. You know why? Because everybody wants to sell their wears and tears to the people who consume the most. And there's nobody
Yeah.
on planet Earth that consumes more than us. You know why?
Right.
I know that when you drive down the street and you see storage units everywhere,
Oh, yeah.
storage units, we got more
That's right.
junk than we know what to do with.
That's
If you're
correct.
smart, if you're smart, you open up that what do you call it, storage unit, sell
Mhm.
all your
Sell
shit,
everything.
right? Raise $10,000 or $20,000. Call me at 786-704-8817 and get yourself some XRP because it's going to be the final fucking Bitcoin.
Why does
Wait
it have to
till
be a $10,000 minimum, though? That's a lot of money.
well, 10,000 the minimum is because my brokerage firms, which I have several, when we started years ago, there was a 2,000 or 1,500, I forget, threshold, the minimum. But the problem is with, and I would love to help everybody. So here I'm going to give you the formula so I could help everybody. Get 5 or 6 people that have $2,000. Send me the 10,000 or 12,000. Then I'll get you the XRP. The one guy that you guys trust, I'll send it to the one guy. That guy sends it to all of you. We're done. But the problem is with the people that have the 2,000 or 1,500 or $1,000, the lawnmower blows up, the dishwasher is broken, the car needs a repair, and the money's gone. And I was sort of getting egg on my face, sending all of this business to all these brokerage firms. And the problem was that the deals weren't closing, and they weren't closing because of that exact scenario I just painted about the dishwasher, the lawnmower, the car
Real
breaking down.
life. Yeah.
Right. And I was getting egg on my face because I'm here sending these customers who are not going through, and we're 95% of the 95% of the sales were not sticking. And so I called the owners of several of these companies and I said, look, I want to change the business model. And it was me that changed the business model. I said, I want to do 10,000 or more because typically I said, I'm just on a hunch, just logic. And I thrive on logic and common sense, right? Truth, logic, and common sense. And we shouldn't call it common sense. We should call it good sense because not everybody's,
Yeah.
otherwise, common, everybody who have it. But anyway, I said, if we make the threshold 10,000, people who usually have 10,000 usually have more money than 10,000.
Mhm.
Right? And somebody who's willing to invest or risk $10,000 is a different kind of caliber client than the guy or
Mhm.
gal, unfortunately, that has $2,000.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you
Sure.
think that they're pushing this digital ID because of the Bitcoin? Because they want to tie in your Bitcoin to your digital ID so they have control over it?
I'm gonna get to that in a second. Let me finish this story, and then I'll get to the
Yeah.
Bitcoin and the digital ID. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna give your audience a story that is so highly plausible that you can go to the bank and you'll get interest on it.
Go ahead.
So when we did this changeover to the $10,000 minimum, and there's no maximum, I got customers that literally have private jets, North Carolina, Texas,
Mhm.
Arizona, California, people with big money. And they all come in. Those guys usually come in for like 100,000 to just stick their toe in the water to see if the
Yeah.
water's warm enough. And then when they deliver the XRP, say, "Oh, these guys are real." Then they call me and say, "Hey, listen, I need to go in for $1 million. I need to go in for $3 million." I got plenty of those customers, and so that's what we did because now what happened was instead of 95% of the sales falling off,
Mm.
98% of the sales were sticking because I bought in a different caliber client. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So getting back to the Bitcoin story that I've created, which is so highly plausible. As a matter of fact, I'm the guy who actually interviewed the main Satoshi Nakamoto,
Oh,
aka
wow.
David Schwartz,
Yep.
in Las Vegas at the second convention, the XRP convention. I cornered him like a little wounded animal. It's a 2 minute and 39-second interview. I said, "You put a patent on blockchain technology. in 1988. You went to go work for DARPA as a in 2000. In
Oh,
2007, 2008, we had the housing bubble. And in 2009, Bitcoin is born. Bitcoin doesn't work because it's still stuck at 21 transactions per minute. It's slow as shit. It cost a lot of money to move. So they had to create a bullshit story, store of value. But store of value is a bullshit story in the sense that it really has no utility. Yes, if everybody stores it, you could say it's a store of value, but what does it do? What problem or problems does it fix?
mm,
6 months later, not even, the only guy that can go, the only guy that can go back and fix Bitcoin is Satoshi Nakamoto, aka David Schwartz.
wow.
And the conversation ends like this in Vegas. And that video's got tens of millions of views on hundreds of different channels, maybe hundreds of millions of views by now. And the conversation ends like this: you have got to be Satoshi Nakamoto. To that, he replies, I may very well be one of the main ones. Yes. I
Wow.
that. And people went crazy. The XRP community went nuts.
Oh,
They
I'll
took
bet.
spread it out there like wild, like wildfire. So Bitcoin doesn't do nothing. Bitcoin was created to transact. The problem is it does not transact. People that have Bitcoin, if I wanted to buy your house and I want to send you money to buy your house in Bitcoin, and it's going to cost me thousands of dollars to buy your $1 million home, right? In transaction fees. Or I could send you XRP and it costs me 3 pennies, literally, and it gets there in
Yeah.
1.8 seconds. Which
Yeah.
one do you think I'm gonna, right?
Yeah.
XRP scalable. Now this is comes from a guy by the name of Hodor. Hodor was a guy that we suspect is a guy that was on the inside, was let out to let breadcrumbs out so that people could learn what's coming. And we were paying very close attention. The XRP community, pound for pound, is the smartest crypto community out there. Don't matter which coin you're in. The XRP community is unmatched. And
But getting to my question though, do you think they're going to tie it to digital ID eventually? Because we're
digital
all going to
ID,
get digital ID. It's coming.
I don't believe it is. They're threatening you with it. They're making you believe because it's causing stress, and they love to
Well,
cause
it's
stress.
already in Europe. I mean, don't
They
you think
said,
it's
well, just because it's in Europe, that doesn't mean it's going to come to the United States. They have central bank digital currency in Europe also,
yeah, I
and other
pray it
parts of
doesn't.
right? Do we have central bank digital currency in the United States? The answer is no.
Right.
So I think that the digital ID is going to be a flop, uh, just like the um, just like the central bank digital currency.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I don't, and we have to fight for that. You see, you have to understand one thing, and you could. This is one thing that I understand that all the bankers out there understand. Hence the reason why when Jamie Dimon was approached by Brad Garlinghouse about the XRP, they didn't take
Mhm.
it seriously. When they went to uh, the SEC and got them slapped with a lawsuit that lasted 7 years, it was like, oh yeah, it's going to settle. That a lawsuit that settled that was never settled for months and months towards the end, the last 17 months. They went to try to build, throughout that entire 7 year journey. JP Diamond went to try to build his own Ripple, his own XRP, and they failed miserably. You know why they failed miserably? Because when they went to try and recruit talented people that could pull it off, there was nobody left. Anybody who was anybody in that world was already working for who? Ripple. The talent pool was completely dried out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they're done as far as I'm concerned. Look, Ripple is going to end up becoming the biggest bank in the world. And you watch my videos from 4.5 years ago. I said that back then. I said at some point, Ripple is going to merge with the Treasury.
Oh boy.
And they're going to become the biggest bank in the world. Guess what? Ripple is merged with the Treasury. Guess what? Ripple did apply to become the world's biggest bank. Yes, it kicked back. They're going to reapply and reapply and
So it happened.
reapply,
Yeah.
and they're going to get through. And mark my words, Ripple will become massive. Okay.
Jeez.
There'll be a point. That's why when you own the XRP, you don't just own XRP, you own a cash generating machine.
Yeah.
Because when they're ready and they say, hey, it's go time, this is no longer a dress rehearsal, and they got to go and they got to turn on the spigot. XRP is scalable according to Hodor, which we believe he was an inside guy who wrote these amazing blogs, who sat on the board and said, we already proven that XRP is scalable to 3.5 trillion transactions per second. Now, do we need to get the 3.5 trillion transactions per second to be successful? No. We could get to a billion transactions, 500 million transactions per second, and we're fine. But the ability to do that exists, right? So
Yeah.
because the ability to do that exists, and Michael Arrington from Arrington Capital moves $55 million, and according to him, and I got the video that lives on my Telegram groups right down below. You can get to my Telegram groups. You should join because you'll get an education that's priceless. When he moves $55 million and it takes 1.8 seconds to get from point A to point B, and it
Wow.
costs him 30 cents to move $55 million, we got a winner chicken dinner, don't we?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So this is what the Bitcoin Nancy's cannot wrap their heads around. They say, well, XRP is centralized. Bullshit. I can
Yeah.
tell you, if you go to YouTube and punch in that XRP is more decentralized than Bitcoin, you'll have a field day. You'll have millions of videos that you can watch that prove my point.
Well, we got a good education on Bitcoin today, which is very interesting, Mel.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to say in closing about your documentary or anything? I mean, we already had a nice conversation about what you've got planned for part two, but and your business in Florida, your health center, anything else that you're working on or doing that you want to share?
Well, I'm coming out with some new swag, QFS1776.com. Make sure you I'll send you the links and you can put them underneath the video if you don't mind. So people can go and get themselves, especially if you're an XRP aficionado like myself and my wife, you can wear the swag, right? And we got some gangster shit coming that nobody's got what we got. I guarantee it. Okay.
Okay.
You need some gold. I dabble a little bit of gold and silver. You need to buy some gold and silver. $1,000 is the minimum. Anywhere in the United States, we'll ship it. Carminesgold.com. Staying alive with two E's at the end. Staying, ing, alive with two E's. If you know people that are sick, tell them to go and watch the testimonials. If you watch the testimonials at Staying Alive, I guarantee you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to call somebody in our one of our staff members, and you will come down and experience it. Come kick the tires. We
Yeah.
know. We know. Look, I had a lady. I'll give you one last testimonial, and it's the very first video. When you get to 7.5 minutes, it's a couple. It's a female couple. They're one of them is a veterinarian. She goes to get a massage. The doctor that she just got done visiting wanted to put her in a hospital immediately and open her up like a chicken because one of her arteries was completely clogged. This lawyer
Hmm.
at stayingalive.com. And all of a sudden she comes, spends a couple of overnights, goes back. But see, when you are in the most relaxed state and you're like sleeping, you can't be more meditative than falling asleep, right? You can't be more meditative than sleep. That's as meditative as you can get. And she goes back to the doctor after sleeping a few nights in our system, and she does a couple of daytimes as well. And the doctor said, "What did you do? Your artery is no longer clogged. It's like
Wow.
cleaned out." I mean, I can't make that story up. This is her story
Yeah.
that she
Yeah.
opened up,
Oh, that's
right?
brilliant.
Right? And who sent her there? Her massage therapist.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a nice story.
And we have
It's good
open
to hear that.
houses. We have open houses so that you can come down and for free. Can you afford free? Once a month, once every 5 weeks. If you go to our website, it will keep you up to date. Become part of the mailing list, whatever, and maybe get text, whatever. once every 5, 6 weeks. You come down and hang out with us for 2, 3 hours, free of charge. Okay, people have come there for 2, 3 hours free of charge. Open house. We do them. We try to do them
Mm,
once a month, typically every 5 or 6 weeks. And all of a sudden, they're sitting there for 2, 3 hours. We do a Q&A after 2 hours. They get to see me on stage, right? Can you imagine that? And all of a sudden, their knee pain that they had for 12 years goes away, or their back pain goes away, their shoulder pain that they had for 4 years goes away, right? So when they experience that, guess what they do? Hey, I got to buy a package. Of course you do, because they
yeah.
want to know, they want to know more. The plasma med bed, absolutely amazing technology. We have a little box you stick your fingers in. We tell you, we read your entire body structure, your aura. Again, not a medical device, but we were trained to tell you what the problems are. And then people go to the doctor, and the doctor's telling them, yes, you got the same problem that the box at Mel Carmine's Staying Alive.
Yeah.
We told you. We're not doctors. We're not giving you medical advice. We're just reading the box. We're reading we were trained to read whatever's on the screen. We say, hey, you got a problem here. You got a problem with your thyroid. You got a problem. And then they go to the doctor, and the doctor verifies a
Yeah.
technology. In a box like this that costs like 5 grand.
Yeah.
Same the same story that we tell you from a technology. How much longer does it take before we have med beds? I think they're coming. I
Yeah.
think
I
Donald,
think so
I
too.
think Donald Trump dropped a big breadcrumb.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, thank you so much, Mel. It was such a pleasure speaking with you.
Give me a
And
copy of this if you don't mind. This way I could give you guys some exposure as well and send me your links.
oh, definitely. And I hope to chat with you again before part two comes out. That would be awesome.
You will.
Um, we take this topic very seriously. The holistic stuff, definitely, but definitely freedom of speech. And I encourage everyone to go watch Dear Mr. President. It was really
I just want
an
the audience to
excellent,
get involved with us and understand that we have something that's real holistic, that's
yeah,
non-invasive, and we collectively, if we all pool our resources together, we could destroy the medical industry. We could
yeah,
destroy the algorithms with free speech. We could do whatever. You know
yeah,
why? Because we are the
yeah,
people, and we the people are the most powerful force on earth.
that is
They don't
true.
understand. They
That
don't
is,
understand how powerful we really are, and we're going to prove that point. Thank you for the opportunity.
I agree with that 100%. Thank you, Mel. I will talk to you soon, dear.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us today. And you've been listening to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled live on United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, which is 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Please be sure and join us every week. We now are hosting 2 lives a week and some Wednesday shows as well. So God bless all of you. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us when you do. And thank you so much, Mel, for your enlightening and inspiring documentary. I invite everyone to go check it out. You don't want to lose your freedom of speech. I guarantee you that. We must never assume that our right to speak is secure because it's not. So definitely support his work and support our network. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless. Take care.